Hi, welcome to Learning Clarinet. This is Maddie. Maddie will be learning the clarinet today. She's paying a lot of money for this, so it better be good. Okay, so before we even start playing the clarinet, we're gonna do some musical breathing. We're gonna start with some musical breathing. So when you breathe normally, you go like this. You don't want to do that, okay? No shoulders going up, okay? We're engaging everything down here. So you go like this. And I want you to feel your hands going out, like a balloon is filling your stomach, okay? So let's go to the side. You can see it from the side. Can you do that? Okay, let's do it 3 in a row. Can you do it? Good, that was pretty good. So this is the clarinet case, and the most important thing before we even start is to make sure we're opening up the case right. So if we open it upside down, all the parts are gonna fall out. It's gonna be a disaster. So this is the wrong way, but the right way, you can tell by the label, is facing up. And these 2 gray latches are facing you. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your 2 thumbs, press in the gray latches and push up. Amazing. So first I'm just going to explain some of the parts of the clarinet so you know what you're looking at before we even assemble it. So this part right here, this is the upper joint of the clarinet. This goes near the top. This is the bell. This goes at the very bottom. It kind of looks like a bell, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Right. Okay, good. So this is the barrel, and the barrel attaches to your mouthpiece, which is what you put your mouth on to make the sound.
Wow.
Mouthpiece,
That's pretty
mouth
cool.
on, yes. And this is the lower joint, which connects to the bell at the bottom of the clarinet.
I feel like we're talking about body right now.
It is like a body. An instrument is like a body.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crop like all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have right here in this case is cork grease. What does this look like to you?
Chapstick.
It's not chapstick. If you put it on your lips, it will taste bad, okay?
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. So what we're gonna do instead is the grease makes it a lot easier to assemble the clarinet, because when we put the clarinet together, we don't want it to be super hard. This makes it slide right on. So what I did already is I greased some of the corks. These are the corks, so the brown parts at the end of the clarinet. I greased some of them already, but I wanted you to give it a try, so I left this one for you. So I want you to take the cap off. All you need to do is a really light layer, and then just smear it around with your finger, okay? Not too much, not too little. A job well done. So Maddie, this is your reed. This might be the most important part of the clarinet.
Wow.
What do you think the reed is?
I don't know, Julia.
I'm gonna tell you. Our reed is how we create the sound to make notes on the clarinet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I take it out of the case, because the top of the reed is the part that's really thin, and we don't wanna crack that, because if we crack the top, no sound will come out of the clarinet. So I'm just gonna carefully slide it out of the case, and then we're gonna hold it by the bottom.
All right.
So I want you to hold it like this, so your thumb is with the J on the back. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's how you're gonna put it in your mouth. But when you put it in your mouth, don't bite on it. All it has to do is rest on your tongue so it gets nice and moist.
Do I put it on my tongue now?
Go right ahead. Perfect. Now you can close your mouth around it, just make sure you're not biting down. Perfect. So now we're gonna start assembling the clarinet while we have our reed in our mouth. So do you remember what the bell looks like?
Mm-hmm.
Can you take it out of the case for me?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That goes at the very bottom of our clarinet. That's the first piece you want to have in your hand. Next, we have the lower joint. Do you remember what that piece looks like? Perfect. Okay, so when we assemble this piece, we're going to put the cork with that piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold your hands close together. I don't want them very far apart. And you're just carefully going to twist it on there. Make sure your hands are close together. Perfect, perfect. Good. And now that we greased the corks, it's pretty easy to go on there, right? All right, our next piece is going to be our upper joint. Now this part to assemble the clarinet is the hardest part. So I want you to take it and have the label facing up, okay? Mm-hmm. So we have this little piece on the clarinet right here called the bridge key. And if we just shove the 2 parts together, the bridge key is going to get damaged. So what we have to do when we assemble these 2 parts is hold down this key. You see how I hold this down, this goes up? Can you press it? See how it goes up?
Mm-hmm.
You need to hold that key down while you're twisting it on and make sure the keys align just like buttons down a shirt, okay?
Okay.
Make sure your hands are close together so you're not smashing any keys. Perfect. It's okay, just keep twisting. You got it. You got it. It's
Can I
working.
switch it? Can I flip my position like this?
Absolutely. Whatever way works better for you. All right, now look at your clarinet. Are all the keys lined up like buttons down a shirt?
Kind of.
You're doing great. So after you assembled that part, I just want you to carefully place it in the case. Good. So that gives your hands enough room to work with your mouthpiece and everything. So next we're going to take the barrel. Remember what that is? Perfect. And then we're going to take the mouthpiece out. Now, in order to assemble these two, before we do that, we don't want to put them together right away because we might accidentally damage this part called the ligature. Can you say ligature?
Ligature.
Good. It's a big word, but that's a really important piece that I'll explain later. So before we put these two together, I want you to take the cap and the ligature off and just place them back in the case. Perfect. Now you can put these two together.
This one?
Exactly. Smaller part together with that piece. Perfect. Okay. So now we can put the reed to the mouthpiece. This is the hard part, okay? So I want you to take your ligature back out. Do you know what your ligature looks like? Yes, that piece. We're gonna slide it over this way, so the screws are right on that side. Perfect. Okay, so what you should be able to do, the ligature shouldn't be so tight, so you should be able to move it up and down pretty easily with your thumb. Can you do that? Good, looks good. So now, take your reed out. Make sure the J is facing down. Good. So yeah, exactly. So we don't want to ever damage this part. So if you go this way, you might accidentally damage the top. So we are gonna go this way. So go down. And we're gonna make sure that all of this part is covered with reed, because if we leave too much open at the top, no sound will come out of the clarinet.
That's no bueno.
No bueno. Okay, is all of it covered? Good, so we'll make sure this is nice and lined up down here, and then just gently twist it so you don't have to tighten it way too much, just so it's kind of comfortable on there. All right, and then you twist both of them. That looks perfect. All right. Before we put that part to the clarinet, we're gonna practice our embouchure. Can you say embouchure?
Our what?
Embouchure.
Embouchure?
Embouchure. It's a big word, but that's how we are forming our mouth to make the sound. Go like this. That's not the way we do it. We can't make sure our cheeks are puffed out with air. We have to have a certain way that our mouth is to make sound out of a clarinet. Can you make like grandma lip? Like you have no teeth?
Nah, nah, nah.
Perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the reed. We're gonna place it on our tongue. I want your top teeth to be touching the top of the clarinet. Perfect. Well, and then your mouth needs to close around it. Okay, but you don't want to blow like this. Remember your grandma list. You want your cheeks to kind of be spread out like this, like you're giving a creepy smile, like the clown from It. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, good. So before we even, so take it out of your mouth. Before we even do that, just go. Okay. Do you remember our musical breathing that we did?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna use that when we do this exercise. So when you put your reed back in your mouth, I want you to go, So all you're doing is blowing air through the top. Okay. Okay, so ready? We're gonna take a big musical breath, and then you're gonna blow. Anything coming out?
Wait, okay. Just like blow on it?
Yep.
Okay.
Is your tongue touching the reed?
Mm-hmm.
Touching the bottom of the reed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and your top teeth are touching the top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can do it. I believe in you.
It would like actually make a sound, just breathe.
No, makes sense.
Oh.
There we go. Now do that exercise that I said. Bum, 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 bum. That was really good. High five, Maddie. Yes. All right. Now we can do the fun part, which is assembling the last piece of the clarinet. So I want you to carefully take your clarinet back out and make sure your hands are close together near the top. And then how do you think you're gonna put this last piece on?
Like this.
Perfect. Yep, your reed needs to be lined up with the back of the clarinet. And you see how there's only one key on the back?
Yeah.
That's the key it needs to line up with. Perfect.
Lines up.
That looks really good to me. So I need you to take your left thumb. Your left thumb is going to cover that hole in the back. Your right thumb is going to go right under this finger rest right here. So it's comfortable holding the clarinet. That's what's supporting the clarinet. So can you hold it like kind of over here, and is it comfortable?
Yeah.
Your hands feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So doing exactly what we did with the mouthpiece, we're gonna do the same thing, but now assembled to the rest of the clarinet. So I want you to do that rhythm. Bum, 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 bum. You can do it. That was awesome, Matt. So now that you have the embouchure down and you can make a sound out of the clarinet, why don't we try putting our fingers down and trying to make a note? So the most important thing to do when playing this wind instrument is to make sure your finger is covering the entire hole. Otherwise, air will come out and the sound won't come out of the clarinet. So how you can usually tell that your fingers are pretty over the hole is if you squeeze down on them, you should kind of see like the indentation of the ring on your finger. That's how you know you're really holding it right. Good? Okay. So why don't we just put these three down. This one, and that one.
Like
make sure your your left thumb is covering that hole in the back.
Got it.
Got it? Okay. So that is a C. So we're gonna try to get that C out, okay? So do exactly what we did, engage your stomach, make sure your embouchure is nice and tight, and try to get that C out. That was so good. Okay, now keep those fingers on.
Okay.
Lift this finger right here, D. That's a D. Perfect. Now lift this one.
What letter is this?
That is E. What letter? Oh, you squeak. Perfect. Now can you go from C, D, E?
Like this way.
Yep. Perfect. Now can you go E, D, C? Take a nice musical breath. Make sure your embouchure is nice and tight. Your lips are tight. Perfect. Good job, Maddie.
Thank you.